Okay, so to recap us on a very long break that we've had, like an unreal long hiatus. In my opinion, I mean, it's not really that long. It's been 3 months.
Yeah.
The campaign started two separate journeys. Well, I guess three separate journeys, but with the party we currently have two separate journeys. From south of the frozen north up to the city of Termerlane. Gunder and Cuervo, two different captains, two different ships, one by land, one by sea, hauling both legal and illegal goods, made their way to Termerlane, where they dropped off the party, each of you coming here with your own reason, some on a holy mission, some to avenge their clan, some because a portal opened and sent you here, and some to spread joy and try to help fix the darkness that is this world. You found your way from Termerlane after taking upon yourself a quest to hunt down a man who seems to be immune to the cold, someone by the name of Sephic Caltro. You knew from your contact, I believe her name was Hlyn, in Termerlane, that he worked for a group called Torgs, led by a dwarf named Torga. And you spent, I would say, about 2 days between getting information in Termerlane and traveling to Targos, tracking Torgs on their destined routes. And you found yourself entering the city of Brynshander over a period of time. But in Targos, I feel like the party began to notice that things aren't that great. And really, the sooner that we can eliminate this everlasting rime that keeps the sky dark for about 20 hours in the day, the better. After some misadventures in Targos, both with finding flying snakes, making circles around the city, people discovering that they're lactose intolerant, the party came together, realized that Brynshander was no more than a couple hours away. They would leave the next morning, and you found yourself to Brynshander, making your way inside the southwest gate, I believe. After talking to the guards and being allowed entry, you realize today is the day of a new moon, and venturing into the city, looking for information about Sephic Caltro, you did make a stop into a place known as the Black Iron Blades, a shop, or I guess the weapons shop that is most notably known in the city of Brynshander, run by two dwarves known as Garn and Elza, brother and sister, who seem to have had this establishment for a long time, the shop itself being made out of a dark banded steel of sorts to both insulate and keep out intruders that are not wanted. Entering the establishment and talking to the dwarves, you realized that, you entered the place and they were in the middle of a brawl, punching each other, and after, calming the two of them down, you realized that they had a shipment of ore that they didn't receive and blamed each other for why it wasn't there. But they were willing to work with you and fill you in on information regarding Brynshander. And I think we would pick up, or at least the last thing that I remember us doing was, his name was Garn the Hammer specifically, the main weapons, I guess the Forge Master I could call him, who was bringing out a sword for Big Toon to look at. One of the few weapons that they had a decent, that they had in stock that was of any value. 1 second. Does anybody have any questions or anything that I missed that was worth noting from our recap?
I just kind of learned everything that I totally forgotten.
I wouldn't really say we missed anything. Just our monk is MIA, and it's pretty much about it.
Yeah, for some reason, the last thing I remembered was being in between towns, but clearly I have gaps in my memory. So
Next time we have a hiatus, I'll make it homework that everyone watches the stream a little bit to make sure that we're caught up.
Probably should have. Yeah.
Hopefully it will be good. I'm not too worried. But I do remember that Big Toon did ask about weapons that he had that were either comparable or better than his sword that he carries, and Garn commented on the quality of the blade, stating that he doesn't have anything of the level of quality that your sword is, but he does have a couple items in stock. And I guess I'll pick up there as the five of you, Athros, Big Toon, Ibrin, Irini, and Ono, are all inside this small but very well insulated iron hut. You see Garn, the Forge Master, coming from the back room that he was kind of yelling from, listing off his inventory that he has, carrying this very nicely crafted longsword. It's carved along the edges, covering the blade, is runes written in Elvish language. The blade itself seems to shimmer between almost a reddish orange hue and a yellow gold as it hits different torchlight as he comes up to you, and he extends the blade out towards you, Big Toon. This is the only weapon I have that's really of anything of value right now. Like we mentioned, our shipment of ores, we haven't received it. It was supposed to come in a few days ago. This weapon was made... how long has it been, Elza? And he looks back to his sister, and Elza kind of counts on her fingers. It's been at least 5-6 years. About 5-6 years ago. It was crafted when we had a sorcerer coming through town who lent us a couple scrolls to help enchant the blade. This person, can't remember his name, furry in nature. He wanted something that could cut down undead with ease. And, well, I put the time in, I did the work, and this is the result. It's called... I call it Flare Glimmer. Because when you swing the blade, and he, extends it out for you to, take the sword, maybe give, and, backs away to maybe allow you to give it a few swings if you wanted to.
Sure, yeah, I'll kind of test it out, feel the weighting and the balance and all that fun stuff.
The sword itself feels quite balanced. It's a bit lighter than the one that you have currently. Your your strong shield sword that you've been carrying.
Yeah.
As you swing the blade through the air, you see sparkles of orange and yellow kind of leap off the sword itself as you complete your swings around, and the sparks dissipate after but a few moments. As the sword was meant to cut down undead, I call it Flare Glimmer, as when you swing it glimmers with this beautiful hue. But my sister, and you hear Elza kind of giggling in the background. It's called Twinkle Sparkle, my dear, because it twinkles and it sparkles. And she kind of laughs for a moment. It's Flare Glimmer. Don't let that get to your head. They kind of argue back and forth of what it really should be called for but a brief moment before collecting themselves. This is the only weapon I have that you might be interested in, but I'll be honest. A weapon like this, I'm not sure if you can afford it right now.
How much is it?
The way it is now, I would sell it to you for about 800 gold pieces. But, and he before our rebuttal, he holds his hand up. If you and your comrades are willing to go out and get that aura that we're missing, I'll just give you the blade when you get back. And like Elsa kind of yells out, "You can't be going off giving the way," and he's like, "Ay, ay, 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 ay." Sister, the amount of ore that we're missing, if we get that back, we could easily make up the money that we lose on this one blade. Ubris will be back in town at some point. We'll get some more scrolls. And when we do, I'll forge a new blade. One a bit better. But in the meantime, that ore will make up the difference. And then some. It's how badly we need someone to go get it.
Kind of turn to the rest of the party and just say, I mean, it sounds like a good deal to me if we go get this ore for them. What do you guys say?
Yeah, I mean, I'd be down to do that.
Why not?
And you, Aethros kind of looks to the rest of the party. Well, I mean, this seems like a fun adventure. And, Ono, like is taking notes, like, scanning over the blade, and every time it, like, moves and gives off a sparkle, he kind of, like, giggles to himself, and, like, jots down ridiculously fast, almost like a sketch of what the sword looks like. And he's like, huh, and this is interesting. And just, like, constantly looking it over. You see Garn kind of extend his hands to take the blade back from you, and, he looks you all up and down. I do appreciate it, but if I'm being honest, I know what I'm asking is quite a lot. I mean, I haven't even given you all the information about the items itself, and I appreciate your interest, and before I send you possibly all off to your death, I think a trial is in order, if you don't mind. I'm not saying I'm someone in a position to force people to do things like these, but I really don't want to see more people die for no reason. So,
And that's understandable. While I would not normally agree to such a trial, just due to knowing my own skills, I understand that there's a lot at stake for you. So
there's someone recently, within the last couple days, has brought a matter to my attention that I'm sure Duvessa, our town speaker, knows about too, but there's a creature roaming around Brynshander who is feasting on some of the townsfolk. I think they might be some form of vampire or something, I don't know. People don't necessarily die, but they have a lot of holes in their body, and if they are corpses, they're missing a bit of blood. It seems to lead towards a vampire, but I don't know exactly. I don't go out at night investigating these things. I would, if you and your friends here slay that creature and maybe bring me its head, I think you'd be worthy of going to find my ore. I know it's not going to be a simple task, but at least it should be more manageable than possibly freezing to death out in the wild.
Sure. So I guess you could almost say that this fellow would be of the undead variety, maybe?
He thinks to himself. And you hear Elsa kind of chime in. I mean, probably. If I had to guess, I mean, most vampires seem to be looped into the undead crowd. I wouldn't be very surprised if he was undead or not.
Right. So, is there any chance that I could do like a rental on this sword that, you know, I can give you a little bit of gold here, just to make things a little bit easier.
Ah, but where's the fun in that, lad?
All right.
If you wanted to, you could roll a persuasion check.
I mean, I'll give it a shot. Right. Yeah, we'll see.
How much gold you got, lad?
I could probably spare about 60 to 75 without going bankrupt.
I tell you what. We can do 50 for a down payment. Or a hold, I guess.
Sure.
As long as you don't leave Brynshander.
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sure you can alert the guards and let them know that if they see me leaving, to, you know, I do consider myself an honorable person. So just let the guards know, you know, at the gates, they see me leaving, you know, and I'm still holding this sword. It's not going to be a good time for me.
Alright. That I can do. You can borrow my blade. For this quest of yours. Oh, I think that's acceptable. And Elsa kind of gives him a look of like, not quite disappointment, but just like, I guess an unsure, inquisitive look. Are you sure about this? Yeah, I'm sure. You seem like a good group.
Trying to be.
You'll have to do your digging, though. I'm figuring out where this beast might be hiding. I don't know anything about it other than what people have told me and what I've told you. But there's enough reports about it that I'm sure someone like Duvessa or maybe the sheriff have something to give you.
What should I add to my right here?
I'm gonna throw it on your... I'm gonna give you access to it. Give me 1 second. Okay, you should have Flare Glimmer in your inventory, Victim.
Sweet.
Right, was there, I guess, is there anything else you need from us before I send you off on your little excursion here?
I was wondering if you guys would know where I might be able to find this. And I hand a piece of paper over. I'm kind of looking for a traveling companion as well. Do you know where I might be able to find a Mastiff puppy?
Give me 1 second.
Told you I'm throwing you a curveball.
We want the dog.
You're looking for, like, yourself or for some other quest that you've been tasked upon?
Mainly for myself. Possibly, maybe have put a saddle on it so he can have an easier way to travel. But depends if I want to cooperate with the little man. As I kind of look down at him and just kind of wink, a friendly little wink.
He looks up at you. I mean, I'm more than willing to ride on the back of a dog, but do you doubt the power of my stilts?
Oh, that's fine. Use the stilt and I'll have
Let me tell you, these stilts, I made them myself. They're very great. Huzzah! And he like sends out like prestidigitation to like make the stilts that he has like sparkle. They're great, but I am not one to turn down the idea of riding on the back of a dog. Oh my god! Think of all the possibilities of the things that I could do for. He's just like he opens up his notebook and just begins writing down ideas he has for like things that he could do with like dog like equipment.
As he's saying that, I just kind of look down at my feet and start like kicking a little inside the shop, like looking all dejected. I lost the guy who was riding me. I will say too, metagaming here might be a little dangerous to have a dog in there.
Oh, yeah.
He'll be fine. I'll raise him in the ways of my ancestors in my astral realm.
You need to train them to like you. You gotta train them to like the scent right away. And Ono just like goes off about how he thinks that like dogs should be, how you can train the dog to not think that cats are horrible. And Aethros kind of just cocks his head. A dog in the group. You're growing by the second.
I'm trying to be more approachable, we'll say. As I like
every little bit of
come
that
from,
you can get.
I come from the back corner of the room more towards the light. You know, a little bit less brooding, as you guys would say.
You do give off those loner vibes. If I do say so myself. No offense intended.
Worst case scenario, me and my dog just go on our own.
As far as a place to get one, I don't think Brynshander itself has a kennel, but I do know that you can purchase a lot of times, not just domesticated style animals, but the exotic breeds, sometimes over in East Haven. Or you can always check one of the traveling merchant groups. Sometimes they bring them up from the south. But there's a kennel, not a kennel, like a, what's the word I'm looking for? A man who sells these beasts of sorts, based out of East Haven. Orcish in nature. I don't know his name.
East Haven, okay. Irene, is there anything you're looking for?
I don't think so. Nothing that I can think of. Dog sounds cool though.
Well, if there's anything you need from me in the meantime, you're always welcome at my shop as long as the doors are unlocked, I suppose. I really don't have a timeline for you to complete this. I'm just hoping that I don't also get you killed in the process for this one. But, you bring me that head, I'll know you're ready for my quest. So, and he, like, looks around looking for some form of, like, timekeeping device, because he really doesn't have any windows in this building. It's, like, all solid. Elza, do you have any idea what time it is? And she, like, runs to the back room, and she comes back with this, like, little ticking device, which immediately perks Ono's interest. And she looks down and she sees that there's like a dial of some sort with some spinning gears. Oh, we gotta be getting close to noon. We better get out there. And as they both kind of make their way towards the door with you, we should probably go to the town center. Today's selection day, on the day of the new moon, for a sacrifice to the Frost Maiden. Have you all heard about that?
I do remember hearing some things about that.
Was that today? I thought that was tomorrow. I must have misread that.
It's on the, it's always on the day of a new moon. So, tonight, you won't see the moon in the sky. Tomorrow you would. Blah, blah, blah. But, the day before is the monthly day that we all get together and unfortunately choose who gets to be this month's sacrifice. So it's usually good to attend it. You don't have to. The town square is only so big, but I would say about maybe 100 to 200 people from the town usually come and show up. It's a big deal, and we'd like to pay our respects to the families who lose someone every time. So we're going to go. And if you want to join us, you're more than welcome to, but it's not required. You can easily go about your day however you see fit, or morning, noon, it's day. And he thinks he's like, I'm losing track of time in this bloody building. And he opens up the door and you feel a lot of the heat that is inside this room, this really well tempered. It's 80 degrees in here, but it's warm compared to everywhere else you've been, because the moment you step outside it's negative 20. So you feel a lot of the hot air begin to rush out of the room as the the pressure and temperature difference begins to set in. All of you with winter clothing, which I think is all of you, if I'm not mistaken. While you're not nearly as affected as someone could be if they weren't wearing insulated clothes, you do feel the nip of the cold air that you partially had forgotten about being in a place that felt more like home, I guess, as they open the door and usher for everybody to step outside.
So, as because I mean, obviously, I probably wouldn't necessarily know any more than what he would tell me about this sword that I'm currently lending or borrowing. Is there a way that I can like investigate it or like do a arcana check to try to know a little bit more about it? Just
Yeah, you
waving this thing around.
if you want to, I would say, if you wanted to investigate, I guess, are you looking to like, because like if you want to investigate it or use an investigation check, that would be like looking at the physical properties and like everything that you can visibly see about it. Arcana would be like trying to understand the magical nature behind it more.
Yeah, I guess that's what I was kind of thinking more about, just because he told me built to slay the undead, so I was just if I could try to glean some information about that.
Okay.
So that'd be an Arcana check.
Yeah, if you want to do an Arcana check.
Well, the blade is elvish, you guys said, right?
Yes.
I could do an investigation for you, Big Tune, to see if I see anything, being an elf myself.
Well, I mean,
If you want to do an investigation alongside his Arcana check, you could. That'd be fine. If he's, holds it out for everyone to see.
yeah, I mean, I certainly wouldn't be hiding it. Well, that's gonna be helpful.
Don't burn all your crits too early here, damn.
Right?
So, I'll start with the Arcana check, just because I assume that's how order it would play out.
Yeah.
You look over the sword, and let me see. Are you proficient in Arcana at all? You're not. Okay.
No.
What is your intelligence? I gotta see this one. Okay. So you look over the sword, and as it hits the describe it. It's not like the light itself outside is more based off of torchlight right now, because the sun only appears for a couple hours in the morning, and then on the opposite end of the sky for a couple hours in the evening. And as it hits different levels of torchlight, you see the different shades of magic that glimmer on the blade. Like I said, giving off a red and a yellow hue. As you swung it around, you saw that same thing sparkle off the edges of the blade. It seems that when you swing the sword, whatever edge that you're swinging it with almost lights up with a glowing, like a bright energy. As far as specific magical nature, you get hints that one of the damage types that it seems to have is fire based, and the other one seems to be something that you've actually kind of been familiar with your travels in the Strong Shield clan, with radiant energy. You remember the sparkle of like this, one of the sparkles that it gives off, the yellowish hue, reminds you a lot of a sword that you saw your father wielding quite a bit in your travels with him, both early on in your life as well as most recently here, as he's rotated weapons quite a bit. As far as the fire type of enchantment, you're not really sure how much damage it does, or like how much extra fire damage it does, but you do feel that this would be an excellent weapon based off of its composition and its magical essence for attacking undead and possibly a lot of other creatures up here in the north. As far as your investigation check, you take a moment, you kind of run your hand across the blade, not like, run across the runes of the blade, I should say, not physically cutting your finger open on the edge. And the runes themselves, the elvish nature of them, based off of the writing and the stamping, I guess, of the runes on the blade, you can guess that the age of the whatever magic was being used, the person who got that scroll or who added the scroll to the sword, enchanting it, I guess. The Elvish text that they used isn't modern, but it's not as old as you. It seems to be some form of, like, somewhere in the middle between you coming back and you disappearing originally thousands of years ago. Elvish script has changed over time, and it appears to be a cross between modern script and old script. So there's certain areas of it that you have to, like, take extra time to think about what kind of text is, but really it's the enchantment itself just seems to be, like, written on the sword as like, for he to slay both the living and the dead. The craftsmanship is truly remarkable. I mean, Garn, while he's not known outside of 10 towns, you can tell that he seems to be one of the best forge masters up here in the north. His stamp is right above the hilt of the sword. The balance of the blade itself is almost perfect. Size-wise, it's comparable, a little smaller than what Victoon's currently carrying, because I think you're carrying, like, a greatsword or a bastard sword, aren't you?
Yeah, I had a great sword, so it's probably a decent chunk shorter,
But the blade itself is a truly remarkable piece, but you can see that the elven enchantment, like, it's age-wise, it's somewhere between present and your period. So whoever took the time and embedded this spell onto here is incredibly old. Was there something specific you were looking for as far as, I guess, either of you, between your investigation and your Arcana check?
I mean, realistically, that's probably all I would have been able to glean, so, yeah, because I don't have any sort of background with that kind of stuff, so.
I was mainly investigating it so I could let Victim know, like, hey, you know, this is a gap in time that I'm not the most familiar with because I've been gone for so long, but I can tell this sword was enchanted with somebody with great power, and, you know, this is a sword worth its name, and, you know, it's worth weight in gold.
Is it a one-handed or two-handed weapon?
It would be... Oh yeah, that's a good point too. This would be one that you would be able to wield with one hand. It does not have a versatile... Like, it doesn't seem like you would do any better swinging with two hands based off of the weight and how it, I guess, feels balance-wise. This would be one you would get the full effect of wielding one-handed.
Okay. All I need to know.
Well, the question is, guys, do we follow them to the town, or do we go try to kill this undead monster?
Well, I feel like somebody that we'll be able to talk to about this is probably going to be there. Whether it be the sheriff or, you know, somebody else.
You did say most of the town will be there.
Well, I just came from there, so let's head on over.
As you were investigating the sword and giving it a good once-over, both of you both see that Ono appeared a bit distracted. And he looks to you, he looks back out into the crowd, he looks back to you. I have something that I kind of want to go look at. Is it okay if I catch up with you later?
Don't get yourself hurt.
Yeah.
I'll do my best. If I heard there should be a tavern somewhere around here that I can catch up with you all maybe a little bit later tonight. There's just a thing I need to go and see with my own eyes up close in person, so I'm not crazy. And he if you find a tavern, I'll look for whichever one seems to have the best hospitality. And maybe some milk. And he, like, looks up at Big Toon and gives him, like, a pat. I'll be back. And he kind of just, like, quickly, like, with a swift motion, like, puts on his stilts and kind of just, like, marches off into, like, towards town square, but then makes a hard right, heading off around a corner somewhere.
Anybody else got a bad feeling about that?
Yeah, that seemed a bit strange.
I think he'll be alright. We all know how curious he is about things.
Curiosity killed the cat. No offense.
I don't know what that means.
So, are you heading to the town square, or?
Yeah, it looks like we're just north of there, right?
Yeah, you're no more than, space-wise, like, at most 250 feet away from, like, the town square center area.
Yeah.
You can hear a crowd of bustling in the center, too. You don't really have the greatest vision on everything that's going on out there, except for a large crowd of people standing in front of the town hall building. But if you go closer, then I'm sure there's stuff you might be missing.
Yep, I'll head right on over.
I will follow behind.
Dimsies.
So as you venture forward towards the town square area, Ibrin, you would remember that when you came through here before, no more than maybe like an hour or two ago, as you spent quite a bit of time in Black Iron Blades, you remember that people were bustling all around this town square. There were several, not shacks, but like stands, either crudely put together or stands that have been in the town square for a long time and are permanent there, that have been layered with items, and you have merchants of sorts and groups trying to get people to come and buy their product. The town square was busy and bustling, and all of that seems to have changed. The overall tone of this whole area has gone from what felt like lively to almost a feeling of dread. I want all three of you to roll a perception check. I'll roll one for Athros.
You want me to roll mine with disadvantage?
I mean, it's entirely up to you, sir. You're more than welcome to keep a normal roll for it, though.
My normal roll essentially is.
Yeah, let's say if you go for disadvantage at this point, then you're not really roll any worse than that.
So, Ibrin, you're still kind of taking in the fact that it's kind of incredible how within that short period of time, everything just feels like a totally different town. Irini, Athros, and Bictune would see this crowd of about 200 to 250 people are standing around this the town square, specifically for the most part facing the town hall building. And as you look at the town hall building, you see that there's three people standing on what appears to be the second layer or second story balcony, overlooking this entire crowd. You see what appears to be a normal town guard.
Can you guys hear me?
Hey, he's here.
And
That makes me so happy. I am horrible at playing Athros right now. You're such a loose cannon.
Yeah, you were very predictable, which was strange.
It's a good thing it was a short period of time. Ben, in case you didn't see the earlier chats too, I have a link to. I have Foundry themselves, basically hosting my server now, so that way I don't have to worry about port forwarding. So you'll have to make a Forge account and then click on the link in the Discord that says like invite to the Black Masquerade, if you haven't or aren't working on it already. But
Do you guys hear me now?
Yes.
You do have a little bit of
Okay,
static.
good. I can hear you guys. Is that better?
A little bit. At least for me.
I don't know. I mean, years of Xbox, I've grown accustomed to noises.
yeah, it doesn't bother me.
That's fair.
Yeah, I know there's a setting somewhere. I just gotta figure out where it is.
So what I was explaining, since I did roll a perception check for Athros as well, and I'll narrate, and if we need me to stop, so that way people can make checks, or if you have questions about the Forge or anything like that, I can answer them as best I can. So what we had, the three of you, Aethros, Big Toon, and Irini, would all see standing on the second story balcony three people of this town hall. The crowd is facing the town hall, kind of talking amongst itself for now. You see that the stands that had all of the items, or like the wares that merchants were selling, seem to be unoccupied, with the exceptions of maybe the merchants themselves guarding their merchandise, standing at a distance. And on the rooftop here, there's three individuals. One looks to be a normal town guard. One looks to be a human woman wearing a long blue cloak, jacket. It's hard to fully make out. Lined with furs along the top, brown hair, and somewhat short stature. And on her other side, so she being in the middle, is a taller, darker-skinned human man. Balding hair, also a blue cloak, a little bit lighter in color. Once again, furs lining the top. And they appear to be talking amongst themselves for the time being, as we're not quite at noon yet. As you make your way into the crowd a little bit more, you kind of get glimpses of the conversations that are going on. Both, full families with like a husband, a wife, and a couple of kids are standing in the town square. You see a couple groups of dwarves that seem to be living in the city, kind of keeping to themselves. One of them smoking a pipe. You see a little bit closer towards the middle, you see Garn and Elza kind of talking to a couple of other townfolk. And the conversations that they have range anywhere from just, checking in to see how people are doing to complaining about the fact that this has to happen every month. And like last month, it was a young woman who got selected for the sacrifice, and how we shouldn't have to do this. It isn't fair to a lot of the people. And overall, the tone of the population seems to be very pessimistic.
Well, just in case I missed it, have we seen like the sheriff?
I don't think anybody really described what the sheriff looked like.
Right.
You could gauge. I mean, you did decent on your perception check. You could gauge that. They did mention who Vas'Kai was, and Vas'Kai is the town speaker of Brynshander. She's the female figure on top of the balcony. You could probably gauge that the sheriff, if they're not up there with her, is somewhere in the town hall.
I say we start heading that way to try to figure out what's going on with this. Maybe a vampire, possibly.
Yeah. Let's head over. I might have missed something on the town board too.
So you're making your way closer to the town hall?
Yes.
As you get to about, I would say about 20, 30 feet from the town hall, you see that there's a barricade of sorts formed of the local town guard who kind of stop you as you get a little too close. You're gonna have to. Are you looking to enter the town hall? And like looks and sees the makeup of this party. I'm assuming you're all traveling together. You're looking to get into the town hall?
Necessarily get into the town hall, but we would like an audience with Uvesa, if that's how you say it, right? With the speaker.
Well, if you're looking to meet with Vas'Kai, you're gonna have to wait a little bit. She's getting prepared for the lottery for this month, for who's going to be this month's sacrifice to the Frost Maiden. The meeting kicks off in a few. This announcement meeting, whatever you want to call it, wherever you're from, gets underway in a couple minutes. So once she's done, we all disperse. You can go back about yourselves. But until then, I'm not allowed to let anybody into the building. I'm sorry to pose an inconvenience for you.
Well, would you be able to answer a question we have for her, possibly?
I suppose it depends on the question. What's going on?
We just came from the forge, and apparently there's a part of the village being attacked by some possibly undead creature, and it's our task to bring the head back to them. Would you know anything about that?
Now, I've heard the stories. Now, we had a meeting about it not long ago. Somewhere in the town. Yeah, there's some form of vampiric creature of some sort. I don't know if it's a standard vampire or a variant. Maybe taking over some other creature of sorts. We see their tracks sometimes in the snow. They like to duck into alleyways more than anything else. Keep out of people's way. Catch anybody who's inconveniently walking through. The last time we had a reporting was over on the east side, by the east gate, within the alleyways over there. But it seems to make its way around. A couple weeks ago, it was on the southwest gate, and about a month ago, it was on the north gate. We don't have a lot of corpses that come back, but there's been a lot of reports of bite marks, and when we do find corpses, they don't have a lot of blood left in them.
What was the reward you guys had posted for the head of that?
For this vampire creature?
Yeah. What kind of reward for gold were you guys giving?
Well, the official notice hasn't been posted on the board yet. But if you bring us the head of whatever the creature is, I believe the reward was 100 gold pieces altogether. So if you split it among yourselves, I'm sure you can do the math.
Okay.
Some of us can do the math.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Well, like I said, the last reports we had were somewhere by the east gate. Exactly. It was. He thinks to himself, maybe a couple days ago, this thing moves fast. It doesn't really stay in one place for too long. You're probably going to have to track it by footprint.
Okay. Well, did anybody else have any other questions?
Any questions for this fine fellow?
As you are kind of finishing possibly your conversation with this guard, or if there's more questions you have, it'd be over the top of your conversation. You hear the dinging of a bell coming from the top of the town hall, and the crowd itself that was once murmuring all to each other begins to grow quiet, signaling that there's only maybe a couple minutes left before the meeting actually begins.
Well, better hurry and get a front row seat for this sacrifice.
We'll catch something.
Is the party staying for the meeting, or are they heading out to somewhere else in the town?
I'm cool with either.
Well, I feel like everyone's going to be at this meeting, so might as well go there. See what you is. Maybe it's a mayor.
Yeah, we're already here. We might as well see how this process works.
Might
Maybe
as well.
there's
We're already here.
a chance we can stop this from happening.
Yeah, you never know. It could be here.
So you make your way kind of back towards the crowd a little bit. The guards themselves having a bit of distance between them and the townsfolk, maybe no more than about 30 feet or so. Taking a couple steps back gives you a better view of the balcony itself, and in about, I'd say a couple minutes later, like about 5 minutes, you hear another bell ding, this time twice, from the somewhere on that second story, and the 3 figures, the guard, the shorter woman, and the taller, darker-skinned man, move forward, and you see she kind of looks back and down towards the floor of the balcony, and you see another set of footprints, or no, another set of boots, I should say, kind of behind her, and she grabs something from this individual and puts it on the railing of the balcony in front of her, taps it a couple times. This little stand with some form of orb. As she taps it, it kind of glows a color that matches her cloak. And from this distance, you feel that you wouldn't have been able to hear her naturally. But as she begins to talk now, you see that her voice kind of booms throughout this town square. Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming on this day of a new moon, the 11th of Camoran. We are gathered here today to once again make not so much a decision, but to determine who will be this month's sacrifice to the Frost Maiden to stave off the negativity associated with her actions and the cold and the impact that it has on the town. We all know these meetings aren't easy. I, for one, I know many of you know, feel this worse than others. But yet it's something that we need to do. For without these sacrifices, towns grow cold, fires don't stay lit, and all of us, one by one, will begin to cease to exist. This is not easy, and I know all of you fear that your name might be the one picked for this month. But I assure you, those of you who do get picked, those of you who will no longer be with us at the end of the day, each month, your families will be well taken care of. This is something I will see to myself. And you being in the front, you kind of hear rustling coming from the back, from a dwarf-like figure, pushing his way through a crowd of people, someone that you haven't met before. He kind of mutters to himself as he makes his approach, and as he passes all of you and steps in front, you see a dwarf about the same size as Garn, long black hair and a braided black beard that goes down to almost his kneecaps. Why the hell do we have to do this every month? I mean, honestly, if we didn't do it for 1 month, you're telling me that we're all going to die. You're telling me that these sacrifices need to happen. A few months ago, I lost my wife to this thing. Do all of you, and he like looks back to the crowd, are we all honestly okay with this? We've been doing this for years now. And isn't it time we changed? Isn't it time we did something else? Made a different sacrifice? Something. It's time. It is time. We gotta do something. And he looks up at Duvessa. And for you to enable this the whole time, instead of trying to find an alternative solution. I must say, Duvessa, I think I've lost a bit of faith. There's a long pause. Oh, I'm sorry, did I interrupt you?
Can I like slowly start making my way back through the crowd, projecting my voice, be like, yeah, this is BS. Yeah, he's got a valid point.
If you want to do that, I want you to roll both a stealth check and a performance check. Dang, look at you go today. So, as he kind of begins to talk and, and make his argument, you kind of sneak away from the group and venture into the crowd. making sure that you don't like run into anybody, at least nothing more than a light brushing, taking time and like altering your voice to sound like a bunch of different people as he tries to start some form of uprising. Give me 1 second. As you make this happen, you see that some of the people in the crowd, or hear some of the people in the crowd begin to mutter amongst themselves, like, "Yeah, you know what? This is dumb. Why should we have to do this?" And as this dwarf and Duvessa lock eyes, there's a long pause. Beramos. Beramos is my name, Duvessa. You know this. And she looks down at him and gives him a nod. Oh, I know, Beramos. Beramos Ironshield. One of our better families, I suppose. Or who think they're better than other people. Based off of wealth alone. You forget your place, Beramos. And you and I have gone back and forth over the course of the last year. Bickering every single month about how horrible this is. But I don't see you proposing a solution, an alternative solution to this problem. So I'm going to present you with two options, Beramos. You and your family. Option number 1. I want you to stand before me, stand before this crowd, and I want you to apologize for your behavior. Do this and I'll forgive you. Or, and she looks to the guards down below, looks up to him. There's option number 2, which is we invoke Rule 2 of the monthly sacrifice to the Frost Maiden, and rather than drawing from a lottery, making the decision random, we'll just nominate you as the sacrifice for this month. Because I'm tired. I know you're tired, but I'm tired of you. And this behavior. You forget, in the very first lottery we had, I lost my husband. I know what it feels like to hurt, to feel this pain. As do so many other people in this town. But until we find an alternative solution, until someone finds an alternative solution, this is what's keeping it from getting worse. So choose. And it gets silent again.
Is my persuasion and stealth, or performance and stealth, still active?
Yeah, since we're still in the same scene, I would let it roll.
While I'm working my way back through the crowd, well, maybe since you've been selecting, maybe you should go. Yeah, maybe you should be the one that gets sacrificed. Go find someone.
Are you... Okay, I gotta make sure I heard you right a little bit. Are you saying that about Duvessa or about Beramos?
She's one the entire time. Like, yeah.
You're like setting up. Good bit.
Yeah, I was just saying, I'm starting to lose you there, John. Nothing.
I'm basically going to project my voice into different parts of the crowd and be like, yeah, you know what? She's been picking and nothing's changed. Maybe she should be the one sacrificed. Yeah, it should be, sacrifice her. Well, I'm trying to get the crowd to sacrifice her if anything.
Alright. I'm going to have you roll a persuasion roll. Let's see where it goes. Because you're persuading through your performance.
Shit.
Oh.
So, as you're trying to entice these people to maybe choose Duvessa instead, one of them kind of stops you. Not like hostile, just like, I know what you're trying to do, but in accordance with how these were set up, The town speaker themselves, alongside the sheriff, both have immunity to this for the sake of leading the town. Their families didn't, which is why Duvessa lost her husband. But she herself is immune, and so is the sheriff.
Well, I'll kind of speak up then and be like, well, that doesn't sound very random to me then. If certain people aren't included, there's always room for a new town speaker.
Yeah, for all you know, she could be the Frost Maiden.
Duvessa looks down at from the second story balcony and kind of sees the how loud did you say it? I gotta know that first. How loud were you talking Big Tune and Atros?
I certainly was talking right back up at her, or whoever was just speaking. You know, whoever said that she was immune.
Since my performance and stealth are still there, I'm going to still work my way through the crowd and piggybacking off of what 15 said.
What was that? I couldn't hear that last bit of yours.
Since my performance and stealth is still active, I'm going to piggyback off of what Victoon said, kind of still projecting my voice through the crowd, acting like other people are saying it too.
As she hears these responses, both from Big Tune, giving him a glance, maybe cocking her head since she doesn't seem to recognize the type of person that you are, and looking into the crowd and hearing these different voices. You all forget that this isn't something that I myself decided. This was decided at our town speaker meetings. Not meetings like these, but the annual meeting of the speakers here in Brynshander. This is something we review every year. I did not decide to make myself immune, but yet here we are. If you wish to take it up with not just me, but other people, you will need to attend these meetings yourself. There is always room for the community to approach. Now, Baramos, are you going to make your decision? Hope, did I lose you all for a second there?
Nope.
I lost you.
I don't know why it's acting all weird. Interesting. Do I have everybody back now, though?
Yeah.
I'm back.
Okay, good. Now, Baramos, make your choice. And she looks down at the dwarf, who, hearing the crowd kind of agreeing with him, but her not being phased, not so much destroyed, it doesn't, affect his morale, but he takes a long moment to think. All of you would see him, except for, I guess, Ebrin, who's weaving in and out of the crowd. We'll kind of see this man contemplating to himself.
How many guards are there?
Standing in front of the town hall, there is easily between 40 and 50.
Oh. You said there's only 200 people here, 200 to 250, just random citizens here?
Yeah, so 200 to 250 townsfolk, about 50 guards, standing in front of 10 towns. There's a significantly stronger guard presence in the center of town here, but they're not all around, the building itself. They're kind of scattered among the streets and making sure that people don't get rowdy on the far ends of the square. I would say in total in the square, there's probably close to 100 guards. The militia of this town is a bit bigger than the other towns you've been in, but 50 in the front for sure.
How well armed are they?
Make a perception check. It's hard to get a read on as far as all the weaponry they have. You can see the basics. They have a decent set of anywhere between leather and a cross between leather and chainmail armor. And as far as weaponry, I guess each guard is a little bit different, spanning from short swords slung along around the side to a spear that they keep at their side. The people in the front of the town hall are layered with more large weaponry with a bit of reach compared to the guards that seem to be scattered along the edges of the town square, wielding anywhere from short swords to long swords to maybe a scimitar here and there. The weaponry isn't very standard across. It really depends on where you're stationed. But you can't get a read on if that's the only weapons that they have or if they have more.
I take it the townspeople aren't armed then.
Not from what you can see.
Okay.
Baramos, after pondering to himself for what feels like an eternity, but in reality is probably a minute or two, looks up at Duvessa and then looks back to the crowd. Everybody here, while I will not back down on my beliefs of this situation, I do apologize for my rowdy behavior, at least in comparison to the rest of my family. It brings shame to the Iron Shield name to speak out against those who still hold a position of authority over me, even if I don't agree with it, even if we don't agree with it. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I would rather risk not being chosen versus making myself the figure to be sacrificed. I do care about my own life and all. And then he looks back at Duvessa. Is that good enough for you, miss? And she nods. Thank you, Baramos. Now return to the crowd from where you came from. It's time to draw
I want to leave.
our name. Oh, what do you want to say?
I want to lean over to Big Tune and say, I bet you 5 gold he still gets picked.
So what?
I bet you 5 gold he still gets picked. The little dwarf guy.
While the
I get
conversations
that feeling too.
stop, and inciting riot is not going to work now. I'm still going to wander through the crowd, but I'm kind of looking to see if anybody doesn't look like they fit. That might be the vampire. Or the person that's been killing everybody in the East End.
Okay. So, as you as you stop calling out and like looking, like to incite an uprising, you take a little more time and look through the crowd a little bit, seeing if anybody might not fit or if they just like, based off of their appearance, seem a little out of place. You don't seem to find anybody out of the norm currently. Of these, 200 to 250 people in the town square, you can't look at, I guess, every single one of them without arousing suspicion in that light, unless you're trying to look at virtually every single person while they're all gathered here. But you can't really make out any distinct differences that would call them out as an outlier.
I guess I'll work my way back up to the rest of my party then.
Alright. As Ibrin makes his way back up to the party, you see, the rest of you would see Duvessa turn around for a moment and put her hand into a box of sorts. Since you're up in the front, you would kind of hear the clanging of tile, almost, coming from this box. There's something heavy of sorts inside it, or at least the total box weight seems to be significant. And she pulls out a tile and comes back to the orb that she was standing in front of before. Our chosen sacrifice to the Frost Maiden for this month. is Akarna Swift, and you hear gasps coming from within the crowd as the crowd kind of parts a little bit. Those of you taller in stature, which I would honestly put probably as Big Toon and maybe Ibrin,
Yeah, I'm a taller elf.
would see there's a small circle of sorts where people have like backed away as a blonde-haired woman, hood over her head. Ibrin, you would have walked past this person and recognized that you walked past them while you were weaving in the crowd. She kind of puts her hands up and like to her face and begins to cry. By her side, you would see two small children. One maybe age 8, the other one couldn't be more than 4 or 5 years old, and a bearded adult man, kind of like, embracing her as she cries. Duvessa speaks once again. I am sorry, Akarna. Oh, that was a Dwarvish accent. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Akarna, for what needs to happen. Please take care of any arrangements that you need done. And then tonight, guards will report to collect you, where you can choose how you would like things to end. Thank you, everyone. And very quickly afterwards, you see Duvessa collect the orb and disappear into the town hall. The guard by her one side closely follows afterward, and you see that the tall, darker-skinned male kind of overlooks the crowd a little bit. The guards in front of the town hall back up in unison, closer to the stairway that leads into the town hall, like about a small half flight of stairs going upward, and kind of keep post for the time being. But the crowd itself begins to slowly disperse. Merchants begin preparing goods once more off to the side. It'll take a little time for the 200 and some people to leave this place, but the crowd doesn't seem very close together anymore, as you are all together once more.
Do we sense that we're in any sort of, like, I don't want to say danger, but like have extra eyes on us because of us speaking up in addition to the Dwarvish man?
You can make a perception check.
Dakota, I sent you a message here on Discord. Can you check it real quick?
Yeah.
Because that might affect what I want to do here real quick.
One second. All right, Big Toon. What you don't really see any extra eyes on you. I mean, being Leonin yourself, you do kind of stand out as far as like being in a crowd. So
Right.
guards you see guards kind of make eye contact with you, but it doesn't seem to be anything hostile, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
They're just confused, not like concerned.
Yeah, it's more of like the same curiosity you get from other places when
Yeah.
they see you walk in. Not so much hostile because you spoke out.
It seems like, at least for the time being, we're done here. So shall we make our way towards the disturbances, or do we want to actually talk to Duvessa?
Well, we could do those, or we could try to save the girl and her family. I think it is quite stupid, to be honest, to have a monthly sacrifice when nothing changes. As I'm saying this, the whole group, I hope, can sense I'm actually distraught and disturbed by the actions that the town just takes.
while I don't disagree with you, we are kind of on this little, I guess, test, if you will, to try to help out the Black Iron Blades so I can keep this sword online. And I mean, maybe we can do a little bit of both things at once.
That's fine.
So shall we start heading east? All right, cool. I'm gonna walk off alone now. Apparently, nobody else want to come with me?
I'll follow Victim as well.
What are we going east for?
To start tracking this vampire. Maybe not a vampire.
Okay.
All right, so the party's heading east.
East.
Yeah, to the East Gate area.
All right, so leaving the town square itself, heading the eastern direction, you're gonna walk right past several of the merchant stands, as they're kind of like in front of the main walkways. I would like Ebrin and Athros to roll a perception check for me.
Looks for Athros.
I can roll good in anything except perception.
Seems that way. Athros, whether or not you would do anything with this information, you would see that the merchant stand that you are all walking past has several dog sleds parked behind it, and standing in front of the stand appears to be a older dwarven woman, a description very similar to what was given to you by Hlyn back in Termalane about Torga from the group Torgs. Seeing her, you see that somebody else standing in front of the dog sleds appears to be this individual with very little winter gear on, some bright, piercing blue eyes, looking over goods on the dog sled.
I scream out, "Hey, look! It's that guy that we were looking for, with no clothes."
I'm just gonna kind of look at Victim and slowly turn around.
Yeah, definitely piquing my interest now that he said that.
So, as you are, as you're about to make your way over there, Athros making it known to you that the individual you might be looking for is very close by. As all of you turn, I will say that this would override perception checks for especially Ebrin. You would see, yeah, there is a very accurate-looking person that you would probably recognize as Torga from Torgs, and the person described as Sefik Caltro, currently helping her. There are other people at the stand, an orcish man, another human-looking individual, and a tiefling-looking individual, all of which are bundled up in very heavy winter clothes, except for this person, as they are currently trying to help people buy some wares.
And in the past, this Sefik Cultural person was described as, like, not only was he, you know, not dressed for the weather, but kind of like walking around like he's untouchable, right?
He had a very self-confident walk.
Right? Okay, yeah. Thought I remembered that.
I rolled a stealth check to kind of break off from the party without being seen, and I'll be close enough to hear everything, but maybe get into a blindside approach just in case of a fight ensues here.
Okay. So you're
Necessarily want to approach him, but stay wary of his location.
Well, I don't know what the party's doing, so that'd be my instant reaction is to be like, oh, the guy we need to fight.
No, yeah, no, I meant as far as Sefik Caltro's location, not yours.
Gotcha.
rogue doing rogue things.
Exactly.
Yeah, I probably would not have noticed that you left. Unless you were already standing in front of me.
No, I was behind you.
So what's the party doing?
Aether was actually trying to remember why they were looking for this guy. He just remembers, hey, we were looking for like a half-naked guy.
Half naked in comparison to the cold. The original party assumption was that he wore shorts. He does in fact wear pants.
Okay.
I don't know. I seem like he's wearing shorts, but. Ready to walk up to him.
Yeah, I mean, Big Tune, what were we gonna do to this guy? I can't remember.
Supposed to. He may have some sort of connection to the Frost Maiden, and we were supposed to find him and like take him out, or at least get some sort of information from him.
Okay, yeah, I couldn't remember if we wanted to kill him or not. That's the big thing I'm trying to remember. Okay, so don't kill him right away, but maybe.
Yeah, that's kind of what I think we need to do. I just don't know if this is the right location to do it.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of guards around the whole sacrifice thing. It
Yeah.
might not be the best idea.
All of a sudden, start picking a fight.
Yeah, maybe if we had Ibram like try and follow him. Wait, where is Ibram? Where Ibram?
Should we instead just go up to him and be like, "Hey, what's up, my guy?" And
What's
just
up, my
kind of
dude?
play it dumb and be like, "Dude, why are you wearing clothes?"
Oh, don't worry, I don't have to play it dumb.
Yeah, why don't I'll come with you if you wanted to come with too, Arini, but why don't we go up and check this guy out, see if he is who we think he is.
Probably a good idea before going in for something more.
Since it's not difficult for you to well, I don't want to put it bluntly, but play stupid. Why don't you take the lead there, Aethros?
All right, sounds like a great plan. I start walking up immediately.
Yeah, I'll follow him.
Follow quickly.
All right. So you, instead of following down the walkway towards the east gate, you instead approach Torg's stand, essentially, trying to make your way past a couple of the other employees for Torg's, and you get within about 15 feet of Sefik, and Torga herself steps in front of you. As to get to Sefik, you have to walk behind the stand. Excuse me, what do you think they're doing?
I want to go talk to that guy. I see he doesn't have a shirt on, and it looks really weird, and I want to know how he's able to do that. Like, does he get really cold? Like, I don't know, I just want to go talk to him.
You're not the brightest individual, are you?
I mean,
Hey, don't talk to my friend like that.
I know my hair is brown, but my skin is kind of bright, right? Like light.
Hold on, give me a moment. I gotta process that one.
Then I just light on myself, like my armor. So then I become bright.
Yeah, just start cleaning your armor.
Yeah.
With Aethros, I'm getting like Kid Goku vibes. And it's
Yep.
just the
I'm
weirdest
getting-
thing.
I'm getting the like crab from Moana. I'm shiny.
All right.
Look, if you want to talk to Sefik, you have to go through
Yeah.
me during business hours. Because unfortunately, I need to make coin. So,
Well, no.
Just one coin.
no, coin is a relative term, Catman. I need to make
Hey.
money.
He's
What
a
did you just tell me?
person, alright?
If you're not interested in looking at our wonderful wares that we have out on display today, if you want to talk to Sefik or any of other members of the crew, including myself, for loitering information purposes, you have to see us after hours.
Well, first off, what time do you get off work? And do you have a plan for tonight?
Somebody go for the brothel route.
Yeah. And second question is, what exactly do you sell?
Well, to answer your first question, business hours end when the sun departs from the sky the second time, so about half a day from now. And if you're trying to flirt with me, boy, I'm a little over your age. You're also not my type, I'm sorry.
I thought I was everyone's type. That really hurts. I don't know how to process this. Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, what were you selling again?
We sell
Already completely past it.
general goods that we accumulate from all over the place, ranging anywhere from 10 towns to down south in places like Setzel and Hiroshima. We bring them north, we sell them here at a decent price, and we go on our way. And we make our rounds, and sometimes we head south, we recoup our goods, or sell goods we have here, down there. We're a traveling merchant group. We do merchant things.
Okay. So in that case, I don't know what I need. Do you happen to have like a really nice fur coat with like some wolf skin around the shoulders? You know, like one of those really puffy stuff coats.
She kind of shouts out over to one of her other employees, who is kind of standing, who's directly standing like behind the counter of the stand. Orgo, and she like looks back, and it's the orcish man. Do you have any of the furs left? And he gives her a nod, and he reaches underneath the stand behind a sliding door, and pulls out a couple different furs. One of which is like a black, like furred coat of some sort. You're not quite sure what the material is or what the animal used to make it was. The others appear to be just in general like lengths of skins that have been dried out and prepared for resale off of some form of animal killed in the wild. I have a coat. Don't think it's a wolf, if that's what you're looking for. But I have a coat.
Wolf would be preferable, but I want like I look at the coat more and like, is that the right size for me? Because I'm kind of short, I think.
She like has like Argo come up and like hold it in front of you, and you see it's a bit long. Wearing this, it'd probably drag on the ground a little bit. Not like wedding gown levels of too large, but it seems to be made for someone about the same stature as Ebrin, more than yourself. I don't know if it would fit you, bud. Drag on the ground quite a bit. The last thing you want to do for merchandise like this is to ruin it.
Well, you're right. I'd probably just end up getting blood on it, but oh well. Trying to think, what else do you have? So she just has like a wide variety of stuff.
Yeah, it's like standard assortment of like things you would probably find in various shops, anywhere from clothing to weaponry, to gems and trinkets and stuff like that. Nothing that really calls out as crazy unique or out of the ordinary. It just seems to be standard goods that have been polished up nice.
Okay.
I'm gonna have Big Tune roll a perception check.
Okay.
Irini, you can roll one too if you want to.
Okay.
These are out today.
Irini, you wouldn't notice it, but Big Tune, you feel as you're like near the back of the group since Athros is, well, I guess your group is small, so you're near the back, and Ibrin is stealthed somewhere, I believe, and Athros is occupying Torga. Big Tune, you feel a tap coming from your side, and as you look down, you see that it's Elza from the Black Iron Blades. And she, kind of signals for you to bend down, and as you do, she whispers in your ear, "Don't buy anything from Torga." And I mean that with utmost respect to a fellow dwarf. Everything she sells here at about 10 times the markup that you could buy somewhere else. You're not going to afford it. You'll get ripped off. And then she, backs away before Torga notices that she's there.
Alright. I kind of put my hand on Athros' shoulder and lean in and relay that information to him in a manner in which Torga will not hear.
Okay, so you kind of, lean in and give him, a whisper of sorts?
Yeah.
Okay. So Big-Tune kind of whispers to you what Elza said about the goods maybe not being worth what they're valued at here.
Flippin' ripoff.
I think what I think I should do is wisdom or intelligence based. Yeah, it's the wise thing. Okay, yeah. No, I'm not gonna. Okay. Yeah, I just browse what they have, if they have stuff on display, just looking through their wares, see if I find anything that I like. But kind of not really find much, and try and make my way towards the back. If I looking at their stuff and get closer to Suffolk.
Okay, I'm gonna have you. What kind of check do I want? I'm gonna have you do not a stealth check, but a general dexterity and deception. Because it's not really a sneak. You're if you're trying to get towards Sefik while looking at goods, I think it would be a dexterity check, but also a deception check.
So I have the same bonus, which is a 0 bonus to them. So I'll just do one roll. Ooh, yeah.
You're just staring at him as you walk.
Yeah. So I bump into something, fall over, ah!
Oh yeah, no. As you begin making your way to the back, towards Sefik, Torga herself doesn't stop you, but Sefik himself turns around from polishing whatever he's polishing on the dog sled, and he looks at you. "I'm sorry, you're not supposed to be behind the stand. Please keep your distance."
I want to know what's on this side of the stand. If I don't go on this side of the stand, I don't get it. I want to buy stuff from you, but I don't know all the things you have. Unless you want to show me every single item individually, which I got time.
He gives you a long stare. "The goods that we have available today are the goods that are sitting out in front of you. Anything that's not out there is currently not for sale."
As that's going on, could I maybe try to persuade him to come over, try to call him over?
Yeah, why not?
Let's see if we can't talk my way out of a situation again.
You could have Irini try to charm him.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, whatever ideas you have, you're more than welcome to try. I'm not that kind of guy. So as you try to kind of signal for Sefik to come towards you, his eyes really seem to be focused on Athros, who's been causing an unintentional commotion in front of the stand. Somebody else, though, an Orgo, comes up to you, though, Big Tune. "Is there something I can help you with?"
No, I was trying to get the attention of your comrade there, Mr. Sefik, I believe his name is. But I guess he didn't see me, so it is what it is.
If it's a matter of something that isn't related to wares, it has to wait till after hours. If you're
Listen, we're busy people. I was just hoping to catch his ear for a minute, but that's fine. I understand.
Generally speaking, at the end of the day, when the sun goes down the second time, we venture over to the north, look for a few drinks before retiring into a home we rent out here. So, if you're looking for him, Northlook might not be the worst place. However, okay, in this instance here, I want Bigtune, I want you to roll an initiative check. Which should just be, I think, dexterity.
Okay.
Or I guess dexterity check. Shit, my bad. Forgot my thing. That's bad. Okay. So, as he's mentioning where he's going to be, and he's like, however, Bigtune, you're able to kind of move out of the way as he kind of flashes a knife towards you. If you work for the city guard, it's better if you don't come looking for him. You understand? It's in your best interest.
I just kind of look at it and just like shrug, like play it off like it's no serious threat and be like, whatever, dude. I was just trying to talk to him. I don't care about you. I just wanted to talk to him.
Well, you know where you need to go then.
Yep. Got it. Thanks, dude. Bye. Kind of wave him away.
Is there anything that anybody else needs from the town square, or what is the party doing, I should say?
I was close enough, like, out of the way to where if a fight would have ensued, I was hoping I could, like, sneak attack and basically kill everybody. But now that Victim didn't start the fight, I'm just kind of waiting to see what they do to rejoin the group.
Yeah, you're kind of hanging out in, like, an alleyway very close by, keeping an eye on... bouncing your eyes between the employees and, like, who they're interacting with. Between Atros now having that brief interaction with Sefik and Torga, and Bigtune with Orgo, you see that like Arini is okay. Yeah, you were just kind of keeping your eyes peeled, and that brief scuffle, you kind of grabbed one of your weapons and just like readied yourself, and nothing ever ended up happening. So you released that tension.
Just like a high school. Hold me back, bro. Hold me back. Oh, shit. All right, yeah, I'm cool to move on if everybody else is done here.
Everybody.
Yeah. Sure. I just have tons of bad ideas, and I don't think I should do them.
Is it what your character would do?
That's what. So the trouble I'm having is, okay, I got 6 intelligence, but 20 wisdom. It's like,
you might not be smart, but you're street smart.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like I'm wise enough to know it's not the best thing to do here now, but also I'm dumb enough where I would think I could pull it off. I think.
Like, yeah, you're super confident about it.
Yeah.
Because you don't know any better, but you also do know better.
Yeah.
Your picture books told you this is not the right time.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting to. Yeah. Let's move on.
Okay. So you're going to keep making your way towards the east side?
Yes.
All right.
As the party starts going towards the east gate, I'm going to just appear in the back behind everybody and walk with them.
making your presence known to the party, or still keeping quiet?
Still unknown, but I am now with the party again officially.
I'm gonna, because we're transitioning, I'm gonna have you roll a new stealth check. I want to see if you can keep quiet.
Okay. Based on that.
I thought that was gonna be a 1 for a second, but I'm like, yes.
Jump into us.
Trips fall, stabs himself. You know.
Nah, you're able to keep quiet. Honestly, you're able to, like, in the light coating of snow from the night before, able to kind of mask your footprints by walking in, like, either Athros or Big Toon's footprints, whoever is farthest behind, beside yourself.
Just some Legolas level stuff here, walking on top of the snow without making an indent.
And they hit us and be like, "Wow, I wish that emo mother would just stick with us all the time just in case something goes down."
Oh yeah, the first sign of any conflict, he's just gone. He just runs. Some friend he is, just ditching us.
Right?
I know. It's like, dude, we could have used you back there. But where is he now? Huh? I don't see him. And then
Still
like,
have no idea where he's at.
my arms out, like looking around, like, where is he? Huh? Oh.
As we
He's
look
right
around,
behind us.
as we both look right over. This
Yeah.
dude's walking over and stuff.
Yeah, as you're like looking around for him, he kind of like ducks out of the way, so you're talking right at him, but you just can't see him.
He's like clinging to my back somehow. Like, what is this dude that?
Yeah. See, he just ditched us. Is he ever gonna come back? I don't know. What a jerk.
I don't even think I could hit that. Even if it was an opposed check, I don't even think I could hit 27 on a perception check. So
Still don't see him.
Yeah, so making your way to the east gate, the 4 of you / 3 of you would see the gate in the distance, following a main walking path. I guess, are you approaching the east gate, or are you, like, what's your plan? I would say you are on the east side, within maybe 250 feet of the east gate. You can see the guards standing post there. The gate itself is open, as you have a couple people standing on the wall of the city, kind of keeping watch.
I guess, can I do some sort of perception check to see if I can notice anything that's out of place here outside of like the normal commotion of things?
So if you're looking to,
maybe like an investigation.
If you're looking to, like, look for, just like taking a look around to see if anything like seems out of place, it would be, depending on how long you want to spend looking at it, either investigation or perception. If you want to like look for footprints and try to like track things, it would be survival.
Okay. Well, we were told that it would be like we have no idea, like people don't know where he is, you would have to track him, right? That was just like metagame talk.
Well, should we talk to the guards and see where they've seen the last body?
And do that as well. I think I'll take a peek for some tracks, maybe while these guys talk.
Okay. So as the party begins to approach the guards, you can roll your survival check. So, as Big Toon is looking at the tracks, I would say the rest of you have approached the east gate. I mean, all of you technically really approached, but Big Toon's preoccupied. The 3/2 of you who are not preoccupied, you see 2 human guards dressed up in leather armor, each of them kind of carrying some form of large weapon, spears, usually some form of standard. In the north here, they seem to both be carrying spears, and they were conversing with each other as they see you approach. Well, this is certainly an interesting group of people here on the East Gate. Can't say I've seen any of you before. Welcome to Brynshander.
Well, thank you. We were just wondering if we could ask you a couple questions about things that have been going on over here.
Irini and Athros, out of nowhere, you hear the voice of Ebrin talking to the guard, who has made himself appear. as you all approached.
I give off a really high-pitched scream.
Could
Because
you,
I'm scared.
could you actually demonstrate that scream for us right now?
Unfortunately, I personally cannot scream that high-pitched.
Just think of like a.
yeah.
I was thinking more like a Wilhelm scream.
You're right.
Yeah. Something that you wouldn't expect coming out of his mouth. Yeah, just something like, yeah.
I'm gonna jump and hide behind him.
Yeah.
Use him as a human shield.
Okay.
I'm basically just gonna ignore the two and be like, guys, I was here the entire time. But anyway, good sir, mind if we ask you a couple questions?
Yeah, I don't see why not. It's been a pretty boring day otherwise. Isn't that right, Goots? And the other guard who he was talking to, who kind of walked away briefly to like grab something off the ground and make his way back. Yeah, it's been pretty quiet over here. Not a lot of traffic coming in today. And what do you need? What's going on?
Well, you guys say pretty quiet, but we just came from town center and a few other places, and there's been some sort of bodies tolling and dying over here. Blood being sucked out, or a vampire or something of sorts. Do you guys know where the last body was found? Because we're investigating that right now, and hopefully we can bring the head to the sheriff and collect a reward for ending this event that keeps occurring over here.
Oh yeah, we got that vampire thing, or whatever it is. I suppose that does make a bit of a commotion, doesn't it, Neil? And the other guard looks like you were talking to the first time. Kind of laughs to himself a little bit. Yeah, I suppose it does. I mean, it's not really a laughing matter, but there's not, like I said, it's been a boring day over here. Yeah, I mean, one of us could take you to where the last place we found a body. It's actually not that far away, just outside the House of the Morning Lord in one of those alleys over there. As far as what it is, it's hard to really say. The way that tracks kind of appear, I'm thinking it's some form of small creature. Maybe got bit by a vampire or inherited vampirism from some other way. But regardless, it's a terror on the city, and we need to have someone deal with it. As much as we want to deal with it ourselves, it's pretty elusive when it comes to us. It's probably because we always have to carry a torch with us. A lot of the guard here don't exactly have that special, vision that allows you to see at night without extra assistance. But yeah, one of us can take you over to where we last had a reported body. It's not that far away. Maybe a couple-minute walk. You got time.
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind leading the way, we'll follow you there.
So, Big Tune, you were rolling a survival check at that.
Yeah,
that
I
moment. So,
did not do well.
as they're all kind of having that conversation, you kind of take a look around, like, the nearby buildings, them not being that far away from the actual guards themselves, that like you wouldn't hear the conversation taking place. You do find some footprints of a couple different types. It appears that one of the alleyways around here is a common route for children in the nearby area to travel, so you see some small like shoe prints going in and out of a couple of the local alleyways. You do see what appears to be a paw print of some form of what do you want to call it, canine, and a paw print that you don't really recognize all that much. It gives you reference to some form of draconic being, but you can't quite make out what kind it is. And based off of what you can see, it appears to be at least a couple days old.
Alright, well. Don't think I really gleaned too much information from that. As far as our current, motive here, so I'll just kind of rejoin with them.
Okay. So you kind of regroup with the party as they prepare to take a walk a little bit farther north on the east side towards the House of the Morning Lord, where the last body was reported. Goots is the one who takes you there. You say goodbye to Neil, and he ventures you up the walkway. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with these reportings that we've had. There's not that many people dying, but the people who die don't seem to have a lot of blood left in them. Like I said, a lot of us don't really see without a torch at night. It gets real dark around here, and especially in those alleyways, you don't want to get caught off guard. I haven't seen it myself. A couple of the other guards say that sometimes they see little glowing red eyes coming out from somewhere in the alley, and then within a couple moments it's gone. But, like I said, I haven't seen it myself. And, kind of talks into a tangent, unless, anybody has anything they want to ask him on the way. It's like a 3-minute walk.
I don't need to ask him per se, but once he says glowing red eyes, I just kind of turn to even like just gesturing without saying anything. Like, is this you?
Yeah, I'll do the same thing. I want to look at Bick to him and just be like, shut up. No. We're just not here.
Within a few moments or minutes, you find yourself just outside the House of the Morning Lord. This big, beautiful, fenced-in, like brick lane structure. This large outer building encased with both a yellow and white brick and the symbol of. Let me make sure I get it right. Symbol of the god of the sun, known as a Montour. A being who not many people up here in the north worship, but they do have a church here that was formed right around the beginning of Brynshander itself. The structure showing about the same age as the wall, but still beautiful and well kept. Goots kind of takes you into an alley that faces towards the House of the Morning Lord. And you, as you get into this alleyway, the torch that he carries with him, since it's dark out here, you see blood kind of strewn about on one of the walls of the buildings. Not as much in the snow. Like, there's been a couple snowfalls since the last body was reported, so the snow, instead of being a dark red, is more of like a light pink. But there's been blood splatter pretty much everywhere across one of the sides of the alley. And he kind of looks down and just shakes his head. It's a real shame. This one is one of the kids in the town, out a little too late, if you ask me. Out past the second sun drop. Good kid.
Can I do like an investigation check about like the area in particular? See if it was like a vampire attack or a sword attack or something? Or if I were to do an investigation check, what would I get out of it essentially?
It would give you an idea. Like, investigation would help you identify maybe information about what kind of death it caused. The body itself is not here, but the blood splatter on the wall you might be able to pull information from based off of like what kind of, how the person was slain, I guess. You could probably interpret that with the blood spatter.
Every time I want to do something, I am not rolling good.
Would my survival check still be active, or would I need to roll a new one if I wanted to check this area?
I would give you, it's up to you in this one. I would allow you to roll a new one if you wanted, or you could carry this one.
Yeah, I'll try again.
If you roll a new one, we're keeping the new roll though. So if you roll lower.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Okay. You looking at this this area here while Ebrin looks at the wall and kind of analyzes the blood spatter itself. You take a look at the ground, trying to just see if any commonalities appear from where you were before and where you are now. And you see the footprints of the child. They're not like, you can't like make out like what kind of medieval shoe that they're wearing or anything, but you see that a very similar sized footprint to what you saw before with the child, and then once again the draconic looking footprints, these being about the same age as the ones that you saw before, but these are a little more refined because of the blood spatter on the ground. They appear to be like three-toed, a little longer than a child's foot, not quite as big as an adult human's, with small claw tips at the end of the end of the feet that come out, and you see small indentations in the snow. This seems to be some form of kobold footprint.
I would know that, correct?
I would give you that because your clan has traveled around.
Well, yeah,
there's a lot of beasts that you would have information on that maybe not a lot of people do.
Sure. And I think, didn't we see a kobold or two on
Yes, you did.
Tourmaline?
Which would also help you with that too. You do know what a kobold looks like in their general foot size. Ebrin, as you are investigating the blood spatter, it's because of how much time has passed, it's hard to make out specific details as to what kind of death this might have been, but it appears to have been whatever it was. It had some form of claws based off of the amount of spatter. If it was a sword, it'd be like small streaks here and there. This has a couple more that are very closely like enticed together. The snow itself, with swords, usually leaves streaks. With the way the blood is in the ground right now, there isn't a lot of streaks. It's more just individual splatters. This was a gruesome death. You can gauge that it was with some form of claws, more than a weapon itself.
Well, after I investigate, I would just kind of relay that back to everybody. Like, guys, I believe this isn't a dagger or a sword. Amount of blood here. This seems like it was almost, unfortunately, his trowel was ripped apart with claws or something. There's a gruesome amount of blood here.
Well, that would kind of track with what I've been noticing since we left the Eastgate area. I've seen some tracks of what I can believe to be some sort of kobold or other draconic type of person. So I feel like that's what we may be needing to look for here. And I kind of turn to the guard and say, hey, I mean, have you seen anybody like this, within the last couple of days?
Anybody like what? One of these little dragon-looking creatures that you're talking
Yeah,
about?
I don't know if you know what a kobold looks like.
I know what the color cobalt looks like, if that's what you're talking about, but something tells me that's not what you're talking about, sir.
No, unfortunately, that's not what I'm talking about. It would almost kind of be more of a humanoid dragon, not like a dragon like you would think, but
Would
maybe some
I
sort of
know?
bastard child.
Would I know what a kobold is?
You would.
Yeah, you were on the ship with.
Yeah,
with,
anybody who was on the ship,
that's
which
right.
one was it?
You, me, and Clark would know.
You
Okay.
were on the Snowpiercer, I believe.
Yep.
So anybody who
I'll
rode on
look-
the Snowpiercer would know what that is.
I'll look towards the guard. It's a humanoid lizard. It's going to be about our size and stature. Looking at Big Tomb, it's basically a lizard upright. It's got 3 toes with some sharp nails on it. It's got human hands essentially for the makeup. They're usually a darker red or red in nature. They've got like a lizard dragon style head and a tail.
Yeah, I'll kind of point to the tracks too that I noticed come from this kobold. Be like, yeah, their feet would have probably matched this footprint to an extent, at least.
He looks down. Well, that certainly ain't no person footprint if I've ever seen one. No, I don't think I've ever seen one of those here before. At least, I mean, if I saw one, I have no memory of it, but I don't think I saw one. So, I don't know if
Have
maybe
you
much use
noticed-
to you on that one.
Have you noticed anybody staying away from like the sunlight in the area, or maybe a household or family that never comes out during the day? Not saying they don't handle or tolerate the sun well, but it's not their ally, I guess is one way we could put it.
Or even based on what you were saying about the place where we are now, the House of the Morning Lord, somebody who would have been against this religion, even possibly.
Well, to make sure we all know what we're talking about here, there really is no daytime anymore. with the eternal rhyme. It's just dark and less dark. I don't think there's anybody who's really spoken out about the House of the Morning Lord, if I'm being honest. At least none that comes to my attention. I mean, usually Devessa Shane and the sheriff deal with that kind of stuff. People complain about religion. We're pretty open about it otherwise. And he starts going off on a tangent about how freedom of religion is like a thing. And then he comes back and is like, but I digress. I myself haven't seen anything. But if this thing seems to be, I guess a little dragon guy, then I don't know. We don't have much for you. The last time we saw him was here on the east side. He doesn't really have or she, I guess can't really be specific, can I? He doesn't really have a set pattern on where he goes, but based off of, his occurrences that he's had, he seems to be making his rounds in a circle. If I had to guess, I'd say he's probably not staying in the same spot for very long. Only maybe a couple days or so. Irini, I want you to make a perception check for me. Just because you're listening to this conversation, but
I don't know that she is.
Or like at least she's here for the conversation.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that was her role.
Oh, no.
I wanted to do an insight to see if I could tell if this guy was full of BS or not, but like I said, when I want to roll something, I can't roll it.
Yeah, you really can't make out whether or not he's giving you everything or if he's holding anything back. Irini, you take a look around and kind of looking out of the alleyway and just giving a good idea as to where you are in the town, maybe getting your bearings straight. And you see something, you don't know what, maybe about the size of Ono, very quickly making its way along the wall of the House of the Morning Lord, heading left, almost heading northward in the town. As it begins to peel away, you catch a glimpse coming from its face, and you catch a glimpse of a glowing red eye before it disappears down the walkway.
Okay, as soon as I see the eye, I'm gonna talk to the group, basically like hey guys, red eyes, 5 o'clock, let's go this way. And kind of like lead them along.
Ebron's right here.
Different
I'm
red
gonna
eyes.
I'm gonna start following Irini.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so the party's following Irini as she leads you off after this thing.
Yes.
Alright. You see, Goots kind of looks at the party leaving, he looks down at the ground. Well, okay then, I hope you have a good time. I'm gonna head back to my post. Okay, thanks. And he just begins disappearing out of earshot as you make your way out into the town, following the tracks of this creature along the wall of the House of the Morning Lord. And as you do so, you see all of you ducking into an alleyway nearby. Some form of little black silhouette of a creature. Occasionally, it will look back. It does have glowing red eyes as it makes its way deep into one of the alleyways here in the town.
I mean, I've got dark vision, so I'm going to continue to follow.
Yeah, I do as well. Just talking out loud to the group as we do. Maybe I wonder if this has something to do with what Ono was up to when he left us.
I swear to God, if this is Ono, I'm gonna riot.
If it's oh no, he's not riding my damn dog.
All right, so you make your way into the alley that this creature has gone into, and it continues to run, almost trying to outrun you, darting left and right. You were able to keep pace. Those of you with dark vision able to lead the way, and eventually it comes to a standstill as it has reached a dead end. The creature itself, frantically scratching at the wall, you hear a hissing noise coming from it. You're all about 40 or so feet away. Let me do my measurement quick.
While you're measuring,
About
and it's
50
kind of doing its own thing here, I'm going to look towards Arini. Like, Arini, I know you can kind of sometimes understand animals. Do you know what the hell this thing's trying to say to us?
Let me see. Well, that.
Yes, I do know Draconic. So I don't know.
Oh yeah, so you would totally know if he is indeed speaking Draconic.
Yeah. And then also Goblin and Celestial. But I'm doubting he's speaking either of those.
Have comprehend languages and speak with animals. I don't know which one would be better.
Well,
I like comprehend languages.
Comprehend languages would allow you to, for the amount of time it's active, understand, I believe it's all spoken, and if you have your hand on a page, written languages that you encounter. I think it's like for an hour. Speak with animals I'm not as familiar with because I don't use it as often. But I know that you used it against the Peritim before too. But it's true, Aethros does speak Draconic. However people want to do it, I'm not going to stop anybody. However people want to spend their, or approach the situation.
well, Aethros, you speaking Draconic. Can you let us know
Try.
what it's saying? Or try to?
First off, you do not know that my character speaks Draconic. And second off,
Do
has
you
this
know that
creature
you
actually-
speak Draconic?
Oh, yeah, I absolutely do.
Okay.
But yeah, is the creature actually speaking in Draconic?
Yeah, so the creature itself is frantically scratching at the walls, and you can kind of hear it. At this distance, he's speaking almost like full volume for himself. You would hear it as a bit more of a muffle as he's talking away from you at the wall, saying things like, need, feed, need, blood, hurry.
And so I stop moving. I'm like, hey, little buddy, in Draconic. Hey, little buddy, what do you need to feed on, huh? What are you in a hurry for?
Are you staying with the party when you do that?
Yeah.
Okay. And as the creature, or the kobold, hears that you were listening to him, its face immediately turns to face you, honing in attention-wise. You see its really, really dark red eyes, a ragged, I don't know how to describe it, a ragged cloak of some sort, really, really beaten, almost as if it's scraps of, tarp or things that people use to secure items more than actual clothing that it's wearing. You see, I don't want to call it saliva kind of dripping from its mouth as it bipedally takes a couple steps closer to the party, maybe no more than 5 feet. Need food, hunger.
Aethros, what's it saying?
Some very, very mean things about your mother. You do not want to know. So yeah, I speak back to it in Draconic, I have food that I can give you if you want some.
Need food. And it takes another 5 feet and comes a little bit closer. Its presence going from a very hostile, fangs out, to a slightly less hostile, not ready to pounce but still keeping its guard up. I want you to roll a... No, actually, I don't think I need you to roll anything right now. So he's just currently about 40 feet away from you now, not 50, in the alleyway, listening and waiting, I guess, for whatever you're going to say next.
So I slowly take my backpack off of my back and just okay, I'm gonna get you some food. And I open it, and then I take the my little knife out of my backpack, cut my hand a little so my hand is bleeding, and then I take that out and I show it to him.
Aethros,
this
what are
what
you
you want?
doing?
Okay, did you... What did you grab out of your bag?
So while my hands were in my backpack, like I was going to grab some food, I have like a little hunting knife or whatever in my mess kit or whatever, and I want to use that to just slice open my hand a little bit so there's blood coming out. So hopefully he could smell that.
Oh yeah.
That's not a bad idea.
He
It will be fine.
cut
Don't
your
you
hand.
worry.
and it like points its like snout up into the air, getting very quiet as it sniffs the air, and then lets out this large hiss. I mean, they really can't roar, so it'd be more of like a loud hiss, as it's very, very focused on you. Food, blood, hunger, and is it's getting more hostile once again.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pick out my sword.
Now, like,
Yeah, is there
I look
like-
I look at everyone else in the party. I'm like, well, this is the thing we're looking for, so let's kill it.
I want us all to roll initiative. Let me open up the map.
I was gonna say, is there any like high ground I can get on top of to maybe like double dagger stab this person?
It will be fine.
We weren't in an alleyway, so it'd probably be pretty tough for you to get up anyway.
You should have access to the map now, and then let me see if I can force you all to roll initiative.
I do have advantage on mine because of my, what feature is that called? The Vigilant Blessing. If that automatically rolls or
Right.
not.
It won't automatically do it, but if you roll lower or if you roll low, I'll just delete your initiative and have you redo it.
You want me to? I'd see the option to roll mine. You just want me to roll mine?
Yeah, you can roll yours.
Where do you see it?
The next tab over from the. No.
The next tab from what?
The next tab over from the chat. It's a little two crossing swords.
So yeah, my first one was a 3.
Alright, let me delete you and I'll re-add you then. Okay, try again.
No.
Wow. Only 4.
Beautiful. Okay, so you are all in an alleyway with a very, very hungry vampiric kobold. Irini, you are the first person up. What would you like to do?
Is he currently like trekking towards Athros?
So he hasn't started moving yet because you did roll higher than him on initiative, but he is getting ready to run, it looks like.
Okay. Then I forgot everything I have. Nothing good.
You have a lot
Okay.
of defensive / utility spells. What do you have for items in your inventory? So you have a longsword and a dagger for weapons.
So you could definitely try to like buff one of us or something. If you wanted
What?
to. You try to buff one of us.
What does that mean?
Inspiration.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do have the ability to give people inspiration. I think it's a D6 at low levels.
It's a D6.
So you can like play your lyre or a different instrument to give somebody else an extra D6 roll on an attack roll, ability check, saving throw. Stuff like
Okay. Can I arm myself and do that at the same time?
You can give yourself like your like if you wanted to pull out like a weapon, or I could say you
Yeah.
had it prepared already if you wanted to, since you're getting ready for combat. But you could
Okay.
do that. You could pull out your weapon as an interaction and then inspire as a bonus action.
Okay, well, I'm gonna get out my longsword, so I have that on me. And then I'm also gonna cast Bardic Inspiration on, let's go Ibram, because he's next.
Okay. So as you Inspire Ibrin. Ibrin, you will have 1d6 that you can spend on one ability check, saving throw, or attack roll.
Okay. As I see things are about to go down, I'm gonna equip my bow and get prepared to fire at it. And basically, once it opens its mouth, I'm gonna shoot my arrow right at its mouth.
You didn't want to move or anything, did you, Irvini?
Yeah, you could move too. I'm sorry.
Back. I'm gonna stay in the back.
That's fine.
I'm a singer, not a fighter.
All right. So, Ibrin, you said you were going to prepare your bow.
Yeah, I equip my bow, and then I basically, as soon as it opens its mouth, gonna fire right at it. I'm aiming to, do a 1 KO essentially.
Appreciate that. Good photo. I was very upset by not facing the
Yeah,
worst.
there is a module I want to activate that allows you, like, when you move your tokens, it'll change the direction automatically. I just haven't figured out the logistics of that one yet. But, yeah. Okay, so when it starts to move, you're going to use that to make an attack against it.
Right.
Okay. Is that all you're doing on your turn? Or are you doing anything else?
That's really all I can do.
Okay, so that will be, you're using your reaction to ready your attack action, basically, in that instance. So when it begins to move on its turn, you'll be able to attack, which will be very, very shortly. So that brings it to Kobold's turn. So he's going to begin moving. So I don't know how close you want him to be, or if the trigger is just it starts moving in general. It's entirely up to you. But
Basically, the second I see its mouth open up for like a snarl or anything, I'm trying to shoot that arrow right down its cram hole.
Well,
Okay.
just as I say, just for future reference, if you say stuff like that, he could technically make a call shot.
Yeah, and in this instance, I'm gonna not call that.
Right.
I'm gonna wait till we get to like level 3 for like called shots and stuff. I have a couple more rules we'll have at that point, but that's not important for this combat.
Just making sure.
Okay, so I want you have to go to your target menu on your left-hand side, select him as your target, and then roll to attack on your character sheet for that bow and see if you hit.
What do I?
So on your character sheet,
Short bow
yeah, so it'd be your short
damage.
bow, and then you roll gotta roll to hit first, and then if you hit with the attack, then you can roll for damage.
So standard roll.
Yeah, so it'd be a standard attack roll. And then you hit attack.
Do I add the D6 here, or is that for damage?
It would be for the attack roll, so when you hit attack, you should have the option to add 1d6. Or you can add a situational bonus 1d6. Alright, so it does hit. Roll for damage. Alright. So as you hit it with your arrow, it like opens up its mouth to snarl, and you kind of catch the side of its mouth with your arrow as it continues to make its approach. You see that the damage from the arrow itself didn't seem to do as much as you thought it would, as it continues to run full speed, not even really impacted as much by it. But it does deal damage, but it appears to not have dealt full damage. And the Kobold's going to spend his main action to dash up to, actually it'd be Aethros. And that's going to be his main action, so he can't attack. So it'll be our next person, which is Aethros himself.
Just presenting himself to you.
So I'm trying to remember this. I'm actually going to step back 5 feet. So I don't know if that attack or incurs an attack of opportunity against me from him.
Are you... So if you disengage, it'll move you
Nope.
back 5 feet without it. If you're just taking a step, it will.
I'm just taking a step back so I can use a ranged spell attack
Okay. That would
without any penalties.
an attack of opportunity. Alright, he's going to make a bite attack at you. Don't know why it didn't work for me to hit you. Is your AC higher than 12?
It's 18.
Okay, so as he attempts to bite you, his attack misses. So you are not damaged.
So then I am going to cast Guiding Bolt on him. So I think so that targets that guy. So attack roll. So 14.
14 does not hit. So as you ready your radiant energy in your hand, you fire it forward. The cobalt ducks down, eyes locked on you as it stills out for the smell of your blood. The radiant energy bouncing off the back alley, about 60 feet out before fizzling in a shimmering radiant light. Anything else you'd like to do, Aethros?
No, that'll be it for my turn.
Alright, that'll bring us to Bictune.
So where he is now, I technically cannot reach him, right?
No, you can.
Yeah, you can. Anything within
Oh.
5 feet of you. In like
Okay, I just didn't know if it
diagonal.
was a diagonal. So
Nope, you can do anything within 5 feet. So like you could hit anyone like where Aethros is or
yeah, okay.
Irini is behind you.
Well,
The first diagonal is 5 feet. Second one's 10 feet after that.
Correct.
okay. Well, since I'm already within range, I'd like to kind of try to stay in front of Irini, especially, just to protect our support character. And I already had pulled out flare glimmer prior to, like as he was cutting his hand inside of his bag. So I'm just going to attack him with that.
Okay, so you prepare Flare Glimmer as the radiant and sparkling energy shimmers off the blade. You prepare your attack. Go ahead and roll.
And that would be the attack button or the standard roll button?
So make sure that you target them first. So you have to
Okay.
go to that left side to the little target, and then it would be the attack first. So what you can do is on the images. If you go over the image of the item, it pulls up like a D20. You can click that.
yeah.
It'll pull it off to the
Okay.
side. And then attack.
Hey, come on.
All right. Roll for damage with Flare Glimmer. All right, so you swing Flare Glimmer up, and it cuts along the shoulder of this kobold. No blood pours from this kobold's veins. It almost appears cauterized immediately from the blade itself. And Bictune, you see that as the blade cuts across this creature, that whatever wound it had from Ebrin from his arrow was beginning to heal. That healing seems to stop as Flare Glimmer finishes its swing.
And do I notice that this cut is not beginning to heal yet?
Correct. You notice that the cut is not beginning to heal, and any healing from the wound that Ebrin cut, or that he created, also stopped healing.
Yeah, there's just double checking here. I suppose yeah, I mean, I could, I'm gonna use my action surge then. That would be a bonus action, wouldn't it?
It would be just another action in general. So if you wanted to make action surge is
Well, yeah,
essentially
no, I meant using the action surge would be separate from an action, right?
yes. You essentially can recreate another action. So like if you wanted to, if you spent your action surge, now you have another like action that you can spend. So of any type.
Yeah.
So if you're going to attack, it would be a standard attack action.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that then. Go right back at him.
All right. Bringing as Flare Glimmer finishes its first swing, he brings it around for another. But this time the kobold is a bit smarter on his feet and manages to dodge off to the side as the sword comes around. The sword creating this almost like twinkles of light in the alleyway more than what was before with every swing that it makes. So, all right. Anything else you want to do on your turn?
Nope, I'm good. I'm going to continue to try to stay in front of people.
All right. That'll bring us back to Irini.
Okay, so I have command, but it says in there that spell has no effect if they don't understand my language. So would I have to use... Is it an animal? Would I have to use speak to animal to then use that on them?
You would not need to in this instance.
So if I used command, I could just use it on him?
Correct.
Okay, then I am going to use command on them, and I'm gonna make it so they can't move, so halt.
Okay. Do you want to, can you click that spell so you use your spell slot for it?
Like the spell.
Yeah. So, like, you can post it off to the side, and then it'll ask you if you want to, I think it'll ask you if you want to use a resource to cast it.
Did I do that right? I don't think I'm doing it right.
So under your spellbook page, if you go over the command underneath, like over the like the icon for it, click that D20, and it should post it in the
got
chat.
it. You must target a token. Okay. So target that guy. Back to the page. And okay.
There you go. All right. So this kobold does in fact fail its saving throw. What would you like it to do?
I want it to halt so it can't move away from an attack.
Okay. So it cannot move.
It makes him like a sitting duck.
Yep, and it cannot take any actions on its next turn. Okay.
Hell yeah.
Okay, so yeah, the kobold, when you say halt, it immediately stops moving. Angry bloodlust still in its eyes, a hiss of spit and spittle shooting forward into the open space in front of it where Aethros originally stood. But it cannot move and has to listen to its command.
Haha, you little bitch.
Anything else you want to do, Urbini?
A little raspberry, like neener.
Do that. I want to put my hands up on my head like a little moose and blow raspberry at him.
Raspberries are in fact blown.
Hell yeah.
You do also have the option, you can as a bonus action, inspire somebody else again this turn. You can do that up to, I think it's your proficiency modifier for charisma, which I think is 18, so you can do it 4 times a day.
Okay.
If you want to.
So, why not? Okay, I'm gonna whip out my lyre. Actually, I think I already still have it out. And I'm going to play for Aethros.
Yes.
Okay, so you start playing a fantastic tune to inspire Aethros. Aethros, you are now inspired.
Inspiration.
Now that I think about it, did you want me to, I guess, like physically use my action surge so it's expended?
Yeah, if you have the ability to, go ahead and do it. That's fine.
Yeah, I do.
That way we don't accidentally use it twice.
Yeah. Just thinking about that.
That'll bring us to Ebron's turn.
Since I have previous knowledge of this species, do I know of any like weak or vital points?
Not necessarily like a weak point to say, like when you're fighting them in person. You know that they are significantly weaker when they're by themselves compared to when they are with a group, because they tend to hunt as a pack, similar to how a wolf does. So them being alone in and of itself is a weakness compared to what it could be. But that's about all you can gather in this instance.
And he can't attack this round, correct?
Correct. Attacks against him will not have advantage because he's not stunned or paralyzed, but he cannot attack or take any actions.
I froze that bitch.
He froze till Arena's next turn.
Would I have the ability to unequip my bow and equip my 2 daggers, and then basically just run up and stab him in the gut and where I assume the heart would be?
I will allow it, yeah. You can swap out your weapons. So you put your bow away and you can grab out your... So the way it works is interaction, you can swap a weapon for a weapon, but if you're going for a second one, you'll have to wait till next turn to draw that second weapon as an interaction. So you can get 1 dagger out.
Even if I used like cunning action?
Cunning action I don't think gives you the ability to draw multiple weapons at once, though. Cunning action gives you the ability to like dash, hide, and disengage as a bonus action.
So if I can only draw 1, I'll put the bow away, grab my short sword. I'm going to run up and just try to pierce it straight through the chest. And yeah, then cunning action to disengage and go away. So standard roll.
Yep, standard roll. You gotta roll to attack it first.
I hit standard roll.
So there should be an option for attack and damage.
All right, so that's better. So as you run up to try and attack it, as you try to pierce its hide is very, very hard, and not sure in this instance how to cope with that. You kind of take that moment and back up to where you were, disengaging from the battle, or from face-to-face combat.
Womp womp.
All right. Is there anything else you want to do on your turn? Or that you can do, I should say.
For disengaging, I'm gonna move my guy if it allows me to.
I hope you have access to move your token.
Yeah, select tokens.
I'm able to just use my arrow keys.
I'm gonna go behind him.
Okay. Alright, so you disengage behind him, taking that step back.
Correct.
Okay. Which will bring us to the kobold's turn, who can't take any actions, so his turn is over. Which brings us to Aethros.
Alright, I'm trying guiding bolt again.
And you have a situational D6. You are inspired.
Yep.
Inspiration.
Attack. Oh,
Very nice.
hopefully that's enough.
Roll for that dare damage, sir. You
Okay.
successfully hit the creature.
Damage, normal. So 18, well, no, 19 radiant damage.
Beautiful. So as you gather radiant energy again, this time feeling the power of the majestic song that Irini is playing for you, you gather energy, your radiant energy in your hands, feeling confident it's going to hit its mark. And as it does, the kobold itself lets out a shriek of pain as it is hit with this burst of brilliant radiant energy. The kobold himself feeling a bit worse for wear. Any wounds that he has are still not healing. It appears that this definitely did a lot of damage to him. As he's like quivering, almost falling to his knees in the pain that he's just received.
I reach my bloody hand out again, like, you still want this? Huh? Come get it. Just want to taunt him.
Just teasing him.
And as you do,
Come on,
it lets
yeah.
out simply a hiss because he cannot move yet.
Come get it. Come on, boy.
I'm so close.
Help me get the tree. You can get it. I know you can.
Anything else you want to do on your turn, Aethros?
No.
That brings us to Big Tune once more.
Would there be any bonus or like benefit for me to try to intimidate him?
I mean, I guess what are you trying to do with that?
I mean, just scare the shit out of him.
Combat-wise, probably not. Barbarians have a feature for that one where intimidation can cause frightened as a condition.
Okay.
In combat, maybe not so much otherwise.
That's fine.
You want to
Then,
attention.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I kind of want him to attack me, so.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'll just swing Flare Glimmer down upon him again. See,
All right.
see what happens. I think that's gonna do
As
it.
you bring Flare Glimmer down, attempting to attack, the kobold himself beginning to feel the charm that Irini had on him wearing off, is able to move his arm just out of the way briefly to avoid the attack. Unfortunately, it misses.
I'll expend my bonus action to look down at the sword like, come on, work.
It's supposed to be great. Gosh.
Right?
Why are you embarrassing me in front of my friends? God.
I paid 50 gold for this?
Yeah.
Anything else you want to do, Big Tune?
Nah, I'm cool where I am.
That brings us back to Irini.
Okay. So I have aid. Does that help my group? Any of the ones I pick? Does that up their damage they do?
It increases hit points for the duration of the spell, not so much damage. So you increase someone's hit points by 5 per spell slot level for the duration of the spell, which is, I think, how long does it last? Up to 8 hours. So in this instance, it's debatable.
Whether it
but
would do anything?
Whether it would be a beneficial use of your spell right now, of a spell slot right now. But it wouldn't increase damage or anything.
Okay. And I can't cast command again, right?
You can. As long as you have spell slots for
Yeah.
it, you can recast it as many times as you want.
How many spell slots do you have?
So you have 2 spell slots remaining. If you look at your spellbook sheet, it has a first level, and then off to the side it has a number out of 3. So you have 2 spell slots remaining.
Well, okay. Then I'm gonna cast command again.
Okay.
So it still can't move.
Okay. So
So-
as the spell's beginning to wear off on him, you're gonna try to redo it and cast it again.
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead and do it
Target.
again. He does succeed this time. So as
Damn
you are trying to hold him back, the kobold himself, his head kind of shaking back and forth as he hears the word halt uttering in his brain, is able to push through it, not fall into the spell.
Is a cantrip the same as a spell?
A cantrip is a spell that you can cast an unlimited number of times.
Okay, then I'm gonna do a True Strike against him.
Okay. So seeing that the spell that you tried to cast is not working, you point your finger out towards the kobold and cast True Strike, preparing for your next round of combat to hopefully do some good damage. For True Strike, if it maintains concentration for the full round, your next attack will have advantage. So you'll have to use like a weapon to benefit from it, but it is a good cantrip at times.
Okay. Do I hit the D20 for that one too then?
Yep, go for it. All right.
I'm gonna cast it with a little finger gun.
Pew, pew.
A little pew pew.
All right. So that will use your bonus action, so you won't be able to inspire this turn.
Okay.
Just an FYI. Anything else you want to do this turn? Movement? Anything like that?
Nope. I'm still behind Big Toon, so I'm good.
Okay. That'll bring us to Ebrin.
I am going to use sneak attack with my short sword and try to stab it through the back where the heart is, essentially, and go for like a fatal blow.
All right. So you move in close, and you're going to use sneak attack. Go ahead and make your attack roll. Since you are flanking, you will have advantage on this attack roll. Oop, looks like you hit yourself on that one. We can change it.
That would
come
be
on my own self. Who did that?
Yeah, roll for damage on yourself now.
I thought I moved it, but apparently I didn't. So, give me 1 second. Yeah, for some reason I can't move it. Ebrin, is your... There you go. There you go. Now roll for damage.
damage. Just normal or critical?
So it's normal damage, but you add extra 2d6 to the damage roll because of
So situational 2d6.
Yes, because that'll be your
Yeah.
sneak attack damage.
The crit would be if you hit a nat 20.
Yeah.
And what are your rules on crits? Like, I know there are different philosophies behind it.
I want to set it up. I haven't actually finished that yet. I roll crits as when you do a crit, you're guaranteed. It's maybe 1 dice roll and 1 full damage. So, like, if you swing a short sword, it's d6.
Yeah.
If you got a crit, it would be 6 plus 1d6 plus your modifier.
Oh.
So, like, you can get, like, it's like a 1.5 times multiplier, basically, but you could get possibly the full double damage.
Sure. Okay.
All
Did
right.
he
So,
kill
your
them?
attack. Let's see, it's speed. I think one of my modules might be not working this time, which is okay. Anyway, so you reaching forward and you make your attack roll. The kobold himself, he feels that one a lot harder than your both the sword swing that you made before as well as the arrow that you felt. Any damage that he has is not regenerating. And he feels very, very worse for wear. You're seeing a bit of blood now beginning to pour out of his body as he falls to his knees for but a moment, trying to catch himself. He is on death's door.
I will use my cunning action to disengage and kind of move away a little bit. Is there a reason why I got like a little frowny face on my guy?
It's because when you hit yourself, you knock yourself unconscious. I'll put you back to where you're supposed to be. There you go. I don't know why I didn't change. I don't know why I didn't move things over. I will figure that out. But you're back to normal, and
I didn't select target. I was still on the select token. That was on me.
Oh, okay. You're back to full health now, so you're good to go.
Damn.
So it's the kobold's turn now. And being able to move this time, he is going to move forward towards Athros, who he still smells the blood on.
Come at me,
I got
bro.
you highlighted.
Is that gonna?
It will not cause an attack of opportunity because he did not. He's not leaving your attack space. If he were to like move off to the side like that, that would invoke an attack of opportunity.
Okay, I would have had to like prepare an action for him to do that. Like, had I not swung my sword on my last turn.
Right, like you could have prepared, like if he moved,
you
could have prepared an action to attack. But he was already in your attack range, so I could see it going either way. So
Okay, that's fine.
I'm gonna lunge towards Athros, fangs ready to dig in. What's your AC again, Athros? 18? Hello? Anybody hear me?
Uh-oh, we lost Athros?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my AC is 18.
Okay, so as he goes in with his fangs, attempting to attack you, they dig into your armor, and they don't make any purchase on you. You see a bit of black energy kind of seep out of the fangs themselves as he cannot break past your armor. Dang, that's twice. Okay. Well, that is his turn, unfortunately. He lunges forward. He's frantically trying to get to Athros and the blood on his hand. Which brings us to Athros.
Well, I'm going to step backwards 5 feet. And then I'm going to... Well, yeah, if he gets an attack of opportunity on me.
You're stepping, you're not disengaging again?
Nope.
Okay, that'll be an attack of opportunity then. Nope. He is unable to make purchase again. That is unfortunate.
Chomper's just not working.
Chomper's not working indeed.
And then, yeah, cast Guiding Bolt.
The kobold, able to dodge out of the way once more as it recognizes that you're trying to cast some form of bright light coated energy. Your guiding bolt misses. Ebrin, you kind of duck out of the way as you see this bolt fly past you in the alleyway, shimmering everything up before dissipating about 60 feet out. Anything else you want to do, Athros?
And then for the rest of my movement, I actually want to get closer to be on the other side of Big Toon from this little kobold. So we got him surrounded.
All right.
And I'm going to pull out my sledgehammer.
Okay.
It's hammer time.
Brings out the hammer.
Yeah.
Time to break some kneecaps.
We're gonna tabletop him.
Brings us to Big Toon's turn.
All right. Going to once again, this time whispering the flare glimmer. Please work again. Come on, it was so good the first time.
Since you are flanking, you will have advantage on your attack roll.
Okay, and I'm going to try to bring it down upon him once again.
There you go. All right.
Ooh.
That's what I'm talking
That's
about.
damage.
So as you bring Flare Glimmer down, Athros kind of positioning for you to be able to make your attack a little easier, distracting it for but a moment. You bring Flare Glimmer down. How do you want to do this?
Well, we need his head, so can I go right through his, try to take his head off?
Okay. So you you
Okay.
bring
Knowing
it,
that we're going to need it.
yeah, knowing that you're going to need that need the head for claiming the bounty, not just for the sheriff but also for Garn over at the oh my god, black iron blades. You bring the sword across, and it glimmers with more energy than you've seen it used before. And you have no issue, like butter, cutting the head off of this creature. As it falls limp to the ground, the head rolls over to the side, and with one last ounce of life left in its body, it utters out one final hiss, spitting blood and saliva everywhere within a short radius before falling limp. The head itself, the radiant, or the deep red eyes, going dark. You've slain the kobold. Good job, everyone.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Since Ono and I had vials before and we grabbed some pink vials, would I have any empty ones? Because since he's not here, I imagined he would appreciate some, cobalt vampiric blood to do some testing on, maybe.
Let me see what kind of... You do have your pink vials. Backpack. As far as empty vials, you would probably have to dump out whatever is inside the one vial you have right now. Generally speaking, if you have like a poisoner's kit or a herbalism kit or an alchemist's kit, they usually come with vials. I'm not seeing any of that in your inventory right now.
I would dump one of the vials and fill it up with this blood for Ono then.
All right, so you take a moment and there's a broken card off on the side. You kind of dump out the pink liquid, and you see it sizzle into the ground as you do so, but it leaves nothing behind in the vial. It's very, very empty, and I would give you the ability to collect one vial of the vampiric kobold blood.
That being said, we'll take his head too.
All right. Whoever wants to, you're able to collect its head. You can add one kobold head to your inventory, or vampiric kobold, I guess you could say.
Can I hold on to it?
Ooh, I don't know. I made the killing blow.
Oh, I want to use this head like a little puppet and talk to people with it.
Okay, yeah, I'll get it.
Please let him.
Oh, Athros. So with this in
Gladly.
mind, I feel like this would be a good spot for us to stop and pick up for next time, kind of like we did with the Peridin.
Yes.
So we'll pick up the aftermath of everything that happened here next time. I'll fill in Clark on what his character was doing in the meantime, because it won't be that long before you guys meet up. I have plans for that one. But how are we feeling about playing next week?
Wide open.
Yeah, I'm open.
Awesome. I should be as well. So let us plan for 6 p.m. again. This way we're all good to go. Hopefully Clark's able to join us so we can actually fill in. Otherwise it'll be another round of the Dynamic 4. Something you should all really start thinking about. Come up with a name for yourselves. You need a good party name. You got time to think about it though. No one's actually asked you what your name is. As you're traveling together, you're kind of unknown at this point because you're level 2. But something to think about.
Voting on Thundercats.
Okay. Right. I'm glad that this worked out. I feel like it was a lot less laggy with us using the Forge as the server instead of myself. So, and the nice thing about this is I can set it up so that way people can access things without me needing to be on, because the server will be up. So if people are curious about their character sheet stuff, they should still be able to access their information. In case you're bored in the middle of the week. If not, let me know. I'll see if I can fix it. But
Did you have to pay for that?
I have to. The party, like the players.
Well, yeah.
Players.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, players don't have to. For players, it's free.
I mean, I would gladly chip in to.
I have
set
a.
that up for you.
I
Had
have
this
That's
discussion
blood.
while you were setting up.
Yeah, so for me, it's I'm gonna end the stream here quick.